Okay, so California does not want you to pee or poop in their state unless you have something as green as this river. You guys have asked me about bathroom situations and stuff like that, so I'm gonna tell you a few different experiences and it will give you an idea of how things are. When I was first here and I was staying around Venice Beach, they do have beaches, or they do have bathrooms on the beaches, and but they lock them at night. They close them all down, they lock them at night. They're supposed to open them up at least a certain hour. I would say at least 7 or 8, right? It's a beach in the morning. But I'm down there one morning, they're all locked, I can't get in, which, by the way, ironically, they lock them at night, but during the day when you go in, the lock doesn't work, which is really disconcerting for a woman, especially if you're on that time of the month. But anyway, this particular morning, and this has happened a number of times, trying to find a bathroom. I have to go to the bathroom. All the bathrooms on the beach are locked. So I go up and down the alleyways with the businesses and things like that, just right off of the boardwalk. Not one of them will let me go to the bathroom unless I purchase something. And some of them only mention if you purchase something. Others of them look at me and say no. But the items they want you to purchase are at least 3 to 4 times as much as they would be off of the beach, okay, first of all, and I understand that, that's business. I understand it to a degree, but nonetheless, man, it's way above my budget, even at a normal price. It's just above my budget. So, and to have to purchase something to go to the bathroom, I do understand it from their point of view. You don't want a whole row of homeless people every single day just coming to use your bathroom, especially if they don't pick up after themselves when they leave. So I get that. I really do get that. And then on the flip side, I went to store after store after store after store after store. I was in between. I was asking people on the street. I was asking other shops, do you know where I can use a bathroom? How far do I have to walk? Kept asking people. So there was a group of people who were watching me do this, you know, tourists, two guys from Europe. They thought the whole thing was disgusting, that I couldn't just use a bathroom. And I finally got so upset. I mean, the last store I went into, which was the 3rd time going into that store, because I literally could not find a bathroom. And I'm telling you what, I have had these bladder problems, which will be the next story I tell you. But I've had these bladder problems. So the fact that this particular morning my bladder was holding up was incredible. But this is a bladder. So this is number 1, right? Just needed to go pee. This is not number 2. So thankfully so. They wouldn't let me use the bathroom. So my bladder, I've been holding it for 40 minutes, which was a record at this point. 40 minutes trying to just find a bathroom. I even talked to some people in the parking lot that are, you know, renting or have their condo there or whatever, you know, all these little condos and apartments along the boardwalk. They wouldn't let me use it. I described the problem. They're like, well, good luck, you know. So I went back to one of the original shops and I'm like, please, I just need to go pee. And the fact of the matter is you guys think that the homeless people are, you know, urinating all over the streets. And I'm not going to disagree with you, because they do, especially men. It's easier, right? But a woman, it's not easy. You're unveiled, you know, like you're totally exposed. So, and I'm like, you guys want to blame that, but at the same time, you won't let anybody use the bathroom. I need to go. And I've been trying for 40 minutes. I'm telling you right now, my bladder's not going to wait any longer. I will have to go in the back alley behind your building. It's my only option. I don't know what else to tell you. The ones on the beach are still locked. Nobody's there. The park ranger or the beach people, whoever it is that's supposed to unlock them, aren't there. You know, and he's like, well, good luck. So I did. I went behind his building and I peed. I had no other choice. So, you know, and all these tourists out there who were talking to me, they're like, this is disgusting. I can't believe you can't just get a bathroom. So one experience. Another experience, again, this was before I got to the park, but I'm up and down Venice, and I get urinary tract infections quite easily, especially if I'm not drinking very much, but my body's kind of like a desert, so when I do drink, I immediately have to pee. And I was just having this infection going on, and so I was having to pee all the time, and then the infection would go away, so my body would actually store up some water, but then when it had to pee, it wasn't gonna wait. It was like, you're peeing now. And so, to be honest with you, I couldn't find a bathroom, and I'm running up and down the streets, you know, with these houses and condos and stuff. I can't find a bathroom, whether it's middle of the night, once it was in the day, or at least early morning, and still couldn't find a bathroom. I peed my pants twice, full on peed my pants. You know, embarrassing, humiliating, and so I go somewhere just to dry out, like, you know what I mean? I know that sounds disgusting, right? But now I've got to change my underwear, I've got to change my clothes, and you know, there's somebody around here, I can hear them, but this is what's kind of, I don't know. I'm still not used to people listening to my conversation, even though I'm putting this on YouTube. It's still awkward for me. When I take phone calls, you know, when I would use my phone a while back, I don't even like it when people are in the room just listening to my conversation with a friend. So this is how I am. Anyway, so, you know, that's but this is also an awkward subject, so it's a little weird if people are listening, but anyways, so it's just you know, it's really hard. So during that time when I was having that infection and my body's like, you're gonna pee now, like I said, you know, I peed my pants twice, full on, you know, so I have to go somewhere to dry at least for a little bit, and then change my clothes, and then I go wash those other ones in a bucket. I wash them with dish soap, because I got a whole bottle of dish soap for $1. It smells really good, it washes my clothes fairly well. So got this tiny little, maybe 1 gallon, 1.5 gallon bucket, and that's how I do it. And you know, but sometimes that's not even applicable. Where am I washing it? You know, I'm out in the open. So sometimes, I mean, you're dealing with that on your body, you know, that urine on your body for a little while at least. And then how am I washing it off? Well, I'll talk about showers on another video. So that's not really easy. This was thankfully summertime, so I could go in the ocean and just kind of wash off a bit. But and there are showers on the beach, but again, I'll talk about that at another time. So one particular night when I was having this infection and I was like, I am not peeing my pants one more time, I was on this alleyway where there's houses, and I try to be really respectful. I mean, this is part of the problem that people don't like about the homeless, and I understand 100%. So I don't usually try to be by houses at all. When I'm sleeping or putting up my tent or anything like that. I try to be around public areas. But this particular night, there was a group of guys over in the public area that I was by, and there were houses this way. And I wasn't gonna go near those guys. And so I was running. I was hoping I could get to this place where I thought I could, you know, pee. And I couldn't get there, you know, it was coming out. So yeah, there were some bushes on this corner lot area, and I just, you know, tried to get in the bush, but I was mid-run as I was also pulling my pants down, so I fell with my pants down, went right into the bush. All the sticks go in all the sensitive parts, and it was uncomfortable, let's say that. And then this wasn't in someone's yard per se, but it was close enough, so their heavy lights, you know, their spotlights come on, shines right on me with my pants down. And I mean, it is kind of funny, right? But it's not real funny to people who are dealing with homeless people right in their community. It's not funny, and I get it. And again, I'm very respectful, but there are moments where nobody will let you in the shops. You've got men over here. It's a threatening situation, and you're just trying to run, and I'm human, and I have a bladder problem sometimes. So that was the reality, you know. I can look back and say, oh, that's funny, the spotlight came on and probably the camera of whatever house that was. But not so funny, to be honest, either, because you know, I am a very modest person, and you know, and that's another thing. You know, men have the ability to kind of just go pee and still have privacy, even if they're like got 5 other guys around or people around. Like, they can still hide it and go, and the pee extends past them. Women, it's not the case, you know. You have to squat down, you're fully exposed unless you have some sort of blanket or sheet or something around you. You're fully exposed. You can't just have movement immediately because of the position that you're in, your pants being around your legs like that. And you know, and then to be honest with you too, unless you women who've been camping, you would know this, unless you put some leaves there, or you have some really soft sand or dirt or some grass or something like that it can absorb the hit, that's splattering all over your legs and all over your pants, and it's gross, you know. So yeah, I've had some real bad bathroom experiences, and people all over. I mean, I can show you, the bathrooms are locked here, the bathrooms are locked there. These establishments don't want you in there unless you buy something. This establishment doesn't want you in there, period. People don't want you around here. People don't want you around there. Men over there in a threatening situation. It's dark. It's this. It's that. It's, you know. So, and this is all just for, you know, just for pee. Now, if you're talking about number 2, I mean, that's even more difficult. And then if you're talking about being on that time of the month, menstruation, that's a whole nother story, because this is not a quick, you know, get it done and you're done in, you know, 3 minutes or something like this, you know, especially to be clean after that. You know, you've got to have wipes on you, you've got, you know, antiseptic wipes, things like that. I try to be as clean as I can. I wash my hands all the time. I don't ever leave the bathroom without washing my hands. So here's an interesting experience. I'm in the In-N-Out, you know, it's above my budget. I didn't go there to eat, but they did let me use the bathroom. I go in there to use the bathroom. A worker comes in there while I'm in there. She uses the bathroom. I walk out right before her. She walks out, and this was the sweetest, oldest lady. I mean, she must have been 70 years old or something, but just a sweet old lady. And I walk out, and she walks out of her stall, and she's about to walk out the door. And in my head, I'm like, please don't walk out the door. Please don't walk out the door. Please wash your hands, because this is just going to ruin me forever. Like, just, I mean, obviously, you know, this stuff happens, but you don't ever want to see it, right? You're like, okay, I used to eat here In-N-Out. Like, I don't want to know this. And she looks at me because she knows that she's been caught, because she's on her way out the door. And she's like, what'd she say? She's like, oh, I used a tissue to flush it. And she just walks out the door. And bless her heart, I didn't want to call her on it because she was old, and I, you know, have a soft spot. But yeah, it was gross. It ruined me. So here I am, homeless, but I'm like sitting there. I wash my hands 3 times with that soap, you know what I mean? And well, there you go. So I could go on and tell you a whole bunch of different bathroom experiences, but I'm gonna just tell you a few. So the park that I'm at now, so that was Venice, right? The park that I'm at now does have they have a pool on the far end of the park, right? They have a golf place on the other far end of the park. They've got some basketball courts, some tennis courts, and stuff like that. So near the pool, they do have these open bathrooms. There's 2 stalls. Normally when you go into at least a woman's bathroom, don't know about men's, but normally when you go into the bathroom, right, the stall will like cover your head, and then, you know, like calf area for your feet, right? Well, in this one, there's only 2 stalls. It's made out of complete concrete, you know, like you often see on beaches and parks and stuff like that. So concrete, and then the stall only comes up, you know, to your chest. So your chest and above, like, you know. So anyways, I did use this bathroom a few times, but I have since stopped. I went in there a few times and there was men in there going to the bathroom, and I don't feel comfortable with that. Now, one of the individuals that goes in there, and I'm going to say this with all the kindness that I can, but it's a man. Biologically, this is a man. Stands about 6'4", very hulky, very built. He's beat up 5 people in this park, 5 women he has beat up. He would have killed my friend if somebody didn't step in. August, he beat her up too. If somebody wasn't there to step in, he would have probably killed her, because he's huge and she's like 100 pounds maybe. So anyways, he's in there one night using it. So I don't want to be in that. Like I said, it's concrete, it's a small bathroom, there's only 2 stalls. Once the one person stands up, you have a perfect view of the other person and all their intimate parts. So I'm not going to do it. Whether you feel like, whether you're in a man's body and you feel like you're a woman, my heart goes out to you. It really does. But if you fully understood women, you would understand how threatening of a situation that is. And I don't know how else to tell you that. But it really is a threatening situation, and it's very uncomfortable. So I'm just not, whether it's this individual who believes that they're a woman, or whether it's just a man who believes he's a man. There's men that are just men that are, you know they're men, and they still use this bathroom. I don't understand why. There is a woman who will go in there and just go to the bathroom also just right in the middle of the floor. And she goes into the men's bathroom apparently, because a guy told me, and she also goes right in the middle of the floor. Totally disgusting, terrible. One night I was going to clean it up because I feel terrible for the workers. I really do. And again, this is why people have these negative connotations with homeless people. And I get it. It's disgusting. It's filthy. I get it. I really get it. And myself, I try to really respect people. There are some things where I literally can't help it. Part of the problem is because there's no amenities for somebody who is homeless. So anyways, this particular day I go in there, and it was a man who knows he's a man, and he was in the stall. And I went in, so somebody was in there, because I've had this experience a few times. I'm like, now I go in there and I speak to the person to see what kind of voice they have. So it was a guy. And I said, oh, okay, all right, well, I'll wait outside till you're done. So I go outside. Then his girlfriend walks up, okay, and this is, I didn't know who it was, but they are from a side of the park that I don't go to, because it's more, from what I understand, they're gangs, and it's more rife with crime and more threatening and stuff like that. So I don't even go on that side of the park. But the bathrooms are right by that side of the park. So he's in there, his girlfriend walks up, and she goes in there and just starts ripping on me. Just, screaming and just like calling me the B word and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I've never even met this girl. And then another woman comes up, and she could see that I'm just standing there. She thinks I'm just like trying to eavesdrop, which I'm not. I'm just waiting for him to be done. And so she comes up and she's like, oh, you guys got ears, da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, what, are you too good to go to the bathroom? You too good to use the bathroom while somebody else is in there? You too good for us, And they made it a color issue, which it wasn't. It was actually a sexism issue, if you want to call it that. I'm a sexist. I don't want to, the men that I'm around in so many ways, and not all of them, obviously not all of them, because I have been blessed by some of them, but some of them are just threatening. I'm not going to put myself in that position. And I'm also a very modest person, and I believe there should be a separation between the sexes in these scenarios. So anyways, she's like, oh, you too good for it? And she made it a color thing. So she's calling me white this, white that, whatever. And I turned to her and I was irritated, right? And I'm like, give me a break. Really? Give me a break. The stall is about this big. He stands up. He can see everything. Okay? I don't want to be in that position. And it's all in concrete. I don't know who the person is that's in there, but I'm not going to be in a concrete area and be threatened. Somebody could corner me. I'm just not going to do it. And you know that. This was a woman. So she knew. Don't act like you're like this is like way out of the realm. So anyways, she made a huge stink of it. And then they both came out of the bathroom and I said, hey, look, I wasn't trying to start anything. I tried to like calm it down, wasn't trying to start anything, just didn't want to be in here with a guy. And so I was just going to wait for you to be done. But because of that issue and because of the way they treated me and things like that, you know, a few videos ago where I showed you that the tent was burnt down and stuff like that, and my buddy's tent, you know, was burnt down and somebody lit that on fire. They know where my tent is because the person that was actually in that stall was somebody that I tried to talk to. The kid's only 19 years old, okay? And when I first got to that park, I tried to talk to him a number of times about his situation and his family, and I feel terrible. I don't think children should be homeless at all. And so I was trying to see if there was any way that I could help him or I don't know, just learn about his story at the very least and stuff like that. And we had like 2 or 3 good talks on separate occasions, and then these people saw me talking to him, and ever since then they just crowd around him and don't allow me to talk to him. And like I said, it's a gang, so you know, what can I do? And I feel terrible because he's 19 years old. You don't want to be in this position, you don't want to get into that lifestyle, and at that age homelessness can become very chronic. There's a very big difference. And this is one of the reasons why I'm vlogging this and I'm doing this, because I heard a lot of movie stars and a lot of famous people say, oh, I was homeless. And they just make this quick commentary that they've been homeless at one point. Like Steve Harvey, you know, oh, I was homeless when I started comedy, I was living in my car. I don't really know what that means. Does that mean that you were just in your car for 2 weeks? Does that mean 2 years? Like, I don't know. But I've heard enough people say that, and I don't know that the experience was like full on, that I decided that maybe I could help some people, and that I could journey my path out of it. Because when people say it, and maybe they were just sleeping in their car for 2 weeks, you know, to me, that's not like a real chronic homelessness. And so I'm like, well, I don't know that anybody's journaled or vlogged their story out. And so maybe I could do that, and maybe it would help and enlighten some people. And again, I came up with the idea of the 7 paths to peace. And so this is a business idea that I have, that if everything works out, then I will have done something to make my life, to rehabilitate my life, if you will, and also offer a service and a benefit to those watching. So this isn't meant to just be a vlog, even though that's what it's turning out to be so far. It won't always be this way, but anyway, so I felt like they could light my tent on fire or just whatever. And that's when I stopped clipping my little lock on the inside of my tent. I don't clip it now, I just put it there, and I actually leave the key just in the bottom of the lock, you know. But but then my neighbor threatened me. I call him my neighbor because he's the only one that's right next to me there at the park. He threatened me, so I've started locking it again, but I leave the key in, so if somebody tried to light my tent on fire, I could at least clip it, take it off, and get out as quick as possible. But anyways, this all sounds very dangerous, and it is, and you have to be very aware. You have to have some street smarts. but it's also not dangerous every single second. And I don't, you know, I'll do some videos on that, but I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh. But yes, it is, you know, if you're not smart and and that's why I can't take this phone out. I worked very hard for it, and I'm just not ready to do that. And the first weekend I was there, literally 5 phones went missing, 3 wallets went missing, blah, blah, blah. So I'll talk about food on another video, but I've also had food poisoning like 2 or 3 times. So there again, this is a time where you have to have a bathroom, preferably not too far away from you. Any of you have ever had food poisoning or irritable bowel or colitis or anything like that, you need a bathroom now, immediately. And this is not just number 1. This is, I call it number 3. This is diarrhea. So you need it now, and you need it within a few steps of you. I've had food poisoning 2 or 3 times in the park, because people keep offering me food, and I feel bad after a while for saying no. And but they're offering me food. Oh yeah, I just got it last night, and that's not always true. You know, they got it you know, a few nights ago, and they've left it either, you know, some people are in the parking lot in a van, so they've left it in their van for days, or they've left it in their tent for days or whatever. And I hate seeing waste. You know, they're like, I'm gonna throw it away if you don't eat it. So I hate seeing waste, and I am very cheap, so I eat it. And then yeah, so one night in particular, I was so grateful, because at least, like the other 2 times, it was during the night, but one time, like, it didn't have full effect till the morning. So grateful for that. Second time, it was during the day, so I was grateful for that. Third time was 11 o'clock at night, and Ralph's closes at midnight. Every other place was locked. So I either had an option to go back to that bathroom that I just told you that I was threatened at, or I could use the Ralph's, or I could dig a hole by my tent, you know. And I'm so grateful that Ralph's had at least another hour open, but they only have 1 stall. So I go in there, and I just prayed that no other woman needed to use this bathroom, and I was very grateful. I was in there for an hour. I was puking. I was going to the bathroom. Sorry, there's some people over there. This is just not, anyway, so awkward, and not something you really want to hear as you come to look at the ducks. But yeah, I was in there for an hour just throwing up, and it was a really bad night. One of the guys in the van who shared the meal with me was also very ill that night, and so we split some Sprite and ginger ale, and he had it worse than I did. So I'm grateful I didn't need a lot of the food, but yeah, in all of these situations, you need a bathroom. So I've been grateful. Let's say Ralph's has been kind, Starbucks has been kind, and Bristol Farms has been a lifesaver. They've been super kind, and I'm sure they know that I'm homeless, because I go in there every morning and every night, you know. And a lot of people, you know, from the park do go over there, and they've never bothered me. Their bathroom's clean, and it's got 2 stalls, and it's like, it's luxury, you know. It's like for the size of 4 or 5 of my tents. So so thank you for those of you who allow us to go to the bathroom.